Okay, so let's wrap this up. I'm gonna wait till some of you guys hop on live, but you guys all have some really, really great questions, and so I wanna make sure to just kind of, touch on those and answer those as best I can. I sound a little bit better than I did this morning, hopefully, so I still can't promise I won't be hacking up a lung while I talk, but I'm so excited to just chat with you guys. Give me some hearts and stars and likes. Let me know that you're on. And then we'll go ahead and get started. You guys, hey Jenny. You guys can see my list. I think Hudson drew pictures on the other side here. So that's all I have. But I've been jotting down notes as I was looking through some of the posts and things in here before I went live. So if you have questions, feel free to go ahead and just drop them. Hey, Brittany, feel free to go ahead and just drop them here. That way I can quickly see those as well. But I thought I would just kind of start again with a little bit about my story and my background with how I got started with coaching, and then go into there. I want to talk a little bit about what my personal journey looks like, how do I build my business, and oh, thanks Sharon, how I build my business, and then also a little bit about my husband and I, because I've seen some comments about skeptical spouses, and we were a testimony of one of those. That was us as well. So hopefully some of you guys can get something out of that too. So I'll let a couple more people hop on. I love this part of sneak peeks, getting to see all you guys hop on. So, okay, so I'll just kind of start with me. So I told you guys earlier, I started coaching about 3 years ago. It's been a little bit more than that. And it was during a time when I didn't really think I could add anything else to my plate. But like I said, I was a teacher and I absolutely loved it, but I knew that I wanted to stay home and I knew I was going to need something different to do. And so I started researching all these different things that you can do to make money at home. Okay, so I'm talking I was could I paint glasses? I literally started spray painting random odds and ends in my garage. It was our old house, so we don't anymore, but there was literally spray paint marks everywhere in the garage because I started trying to figure out what could I do to make maybe an Etsy shop. There's just gotta be something I could do to make some money when I come home from teaching. And so anyways, we got pregnant quicker than we thought we were going to with my first, and shortly thereafter, I had been a part of a community called Tone It Up, which is a fitness community where you basically have these online workouts, you're working out, you're holding yourself accountable from, online workouts in an online community. And I really loved that. And so I told probably 5 to 6 other coaches no every time they invited me to something like this, because I had no idea what it was. I didn't understand any of that. And I was no, I don't even know what that means. And I said no for the longest time. And then for some reason, I decided to say yes. And so I joined this little sneak peek group, and I was, like I said, I was teaching full time and I was doing Tone It Up. And I joined this sneak peek group, and at the end of it, I remember just bawling. I can still remember the day and the video that moved me to tears, because I completely resonated. Hey, Courtney. I completely resonated with the woman who was speaking, and she was a teacher. She had 3 kids. She wanted to be home with her kids so desperately. And that year was the year that she was actually going to be able to stay home with her kids. And I just remember being oh my gosh, and telling my husband, and I was just bawling. And so, shortly thereafter, I entertained the idea of coaching. I talked to my husband about it. He thought I was crazy at first, super skeptical. We both were, honestly. I didn't even know Beachbody. I didn't know Beachbody. I had heard of Insanity, and that was it. My husband had done a little bit of Insanity before we got married, but I literally had no idea what Beachbody was. I didn't know there was such a thing as having a coach. I had no idea. So shortly thereafter, we started researching everything, looking at everything. And, after looking through all the different skeptical, message boards and all the things that we could look at, my husband, making sure it wasn't a pyramid scheme and all those things that you guys, all those terms that you guys hear thrown around with a network marketing company. And we finally decided to just give it a go. And he was like, you know what, at the end of the day, if the worst thing that happens, if you make no money, if you absolutely hate it, if the worst thing that happens is that you start feeling better about yourself, you start working out and being really consistent and maybe make some new friends, like that is money well spent. Like I will be so glad that I spent money on that challenge pack to get you started. So that was kind of our mindset going into this whole coaching thing. I really joined for the community. I was starting to hit a plateau in my workouts that I was doing with this online community. Like I said, I was a part of before. And so I started getting into Beachbody workouts. So I chose a program. I had no idea what it was. I started drinking Shakeology. I had no idea what it was. I started following a meal plan. I've never really followed a meal plan really good before. And it was simple. And it was community that I had missed. It was this, I had that online community with Tone It Up, but I was missing that actual personal contact with people. And so when I joined Beachbody, I had this coach, I had this tangible community that I actually connected with and talks to all the time. And so I started to fall in love with it, and I started to really start seeing results in my fitness. I started to just change. Who I was as a person was changing. I was getting more, just feeling more positive and more confident, and naturally that was totally infusing itself into every part of my life as a whole. My relationships were better. I was more confident. I walked a little bit taller and a little bit more proud. I didn't slouch and try to hide away as much. I became a little bit more extroverted. I'm actually the biggest introvert ever. I'm super shy. But it helped bring me out of my shell a little bit. And my marriage was better. My husband and I started having this thing that we would do together. We would work out together. And for the longest time, that was not something that happened. And slowly but surely, we started to have this commonality, this thing that we looked forward to doing every single day. And as a coach, a huge part of being a successful coach is doing personal development. And so, and I spoke a little bit about that this morning, but, working on yourself from the inside out. So while you're on a health and fitness journey, it's so important to also, really better your mental health. And so I started to become this person that I always dreamt I could be, and I always wanted to be, but I never really believed that I could be. And so slowly over time, I started to just feel more positive and more passionate and just compassionate. And so my marriage was just completely changed. I mean, I came into coaching and I was just in a rough place. I was very borderline depressed and just not happy about anything in life. Nothing really thrilled me. And so as I started to feel this sense of community and feel this change in my life, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing that people do this for a job. And so I started actually coaching. And so I hosted my first little group and I put it out there, and I still remember making my first post saying hey, so you guys know I've been trying to get, a little bit more into fitness, and I've decided to do this thing, and I've decided to become a coach. And, so if you start seeing recipes and maybe some workouts and stuff, that's what I'm up to. And I literally pressed post, and I remember walking into Kroger and closing my eyes, and I was in a heavy sweat because I was so nervous about just having posted that and just blasted the world with this new idea that was totally outside my comfort zone, that I became a coach. And so that's kind of how I got started. I was I didn't know what I was falling into. I just wanted the community and the accountability. And from there, I fell in love with feeling better about myself, and I fell in love with actually being able to help other women find that same thing. I grew up never knowing that I could do anything different. I loved teaching, and I thought that that's kind of what I was going to do my entire life. And then until I had kids, and I thought I was just going to stay home, and that I would always feel like a little piece of me was missing, because I felt this battle between wanting to stay home with my kids, but also wanting to provide an income, but not wanting to miss everything. I wanted to have it all kind of. And so coaching has really brought this opportunity for me to have both. I get to be home with my kids. I've got 2 kids, a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old now. And it's allowed me to be home with them, but also given me this purpose and this outlet to share things that I'm passionate about, to still use my skill of teaching and loving on other people, but in a different setting. It's not in a classroom, it's here on social media and with women that maybe I don't know yet, but it's broadened my horizons to just meet so many incredible people and make relationships that I never would have had before. So that is something that has been really, really cool since I began as a coach. Is I never anticipated all the ways that it would bless my life, but it's blessed them more than I can even imagine. And it all started because I wanted to get healthier myself. And since then, it's just been this trickle effect of wanting to help more and more women, wanting to help inspire and empower more women to just believe in themselves, to believe that they too can make a decision that could change their life. I never had anyone give me permission to dream or just do something outside of the box until my husband believed in me and told me, just go for it, just see what happens. And I did, and it's been incredible since that very first day, since November 3rd of 2014. So that is why I'm here. I am here and I host these groups every month, and I lead my 2-time top 10 team every month and every year, every day, every minute, because my journey and my mission is not over yet. I have not reached enough women to help love on them and inspire them and empower them and let them know that they also can do anything that they dream of. And maybe you don't even know this was your dream, maybe it can be your platform to do something else that you're passionate about. But that's what's so cool about Beachbody and being a coach, is that just because you become a coach doesn't mean you become this walking billboard for, all the Beachbody programs and Shakeology and working out. That's not it at all. If you follow me, then you know that's definitely not the case. It's a platform for you to share your life and share what you love and what you're passionate about, and then be able to connect with women all over the world, all over the country, and share what it is that you're doing that brings you happiness and joy, and help them find that too. And that's been just the most amazing trickle effect that I've seen on our team. The Inspiration Crew, as you guys know, is our team. And they just have some of the biggest hearts of anyone I know. And that's why they're a 2-time top 10 team, because they can't help but share their story and share their journey every single day, so that in the hopes of being able to help someone else, join them on this journey and find just passion and fulfillment and change, in the trend of obesity. I made a post the other night because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, with being a coach, there's so many trends that we're ending. Yes, Beachbody's main goal is to end the trend of obesity, but as coaches, we end the trend of loneliness, of living paycheck to paycheck. This is an opportunity to create an income for yourself. We end the trend of just self-doubt and just talking down to yourself. It's just amazing the different things that I have seen, the different transformations that I have seen since being a coach, especially since, leading this team now. Okay, so that's a little bit about my story. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me anything specific. But that's kind of how I got started, and why I'm here today, what my mission is. And it's obviously been something that's financially blessed my family. I was able to leave my teaching job within about 9 months with a lot of heart and hustle and hard work. And since then, I make an income still while being at home with my kids. And I've made some of just the most incredible relationships and friendships. My husband has made some amazing friendships with the husbands of these guys. We meet with women all, every quarter and all the time for different events throughout the year. And it's so cool. You just make the most amazing friendships. So that's a little bit about our crew, a little bit about my story. And now I thought I would answer a couple questions. So I did just see somebody ask about a personal development book, kind of what was my favorite first one. When I joined as a coach, somebody recommended to me a book called The Slight Edge. And I always recommend that as the first book for any new coach getting started. And this is something that happens in your new coach training that I kind of share with you. But it's just a really great book, just talking about how to have that edge, how to have that little bit of difference in what you do. And it's a really great one to start off with as a new coach. But as a new coach, one of these questions in here, I'm just going to mark them off as I go. But one of the questions that I had gotten was, how do we get started? What does that look like? So, and what kind of training do we get? So when you join in as a new coach, we welcome you into the team pages. We give you access to your new coach training. We walk alongside you. We help you with everything that you need. We have this amazing Google Drive folder of resources to help you. We have, you have a little message pod of other new coaches. You have the team pages. You're not alone. There's so many resources and no need to reinvent the wheel. You know exactly what to do from the day that you step onto the team and what to do every day thereafter. So that's what's really cool, is that you have a lot of resources, at your disposal. And this is not a journey that you do, on your own. It's a team effort. So that's a little bit about that. So I'm just going to kind of dive into some of the questions that I've seen here. Literally going to cross them off, otherwise I'll forget. And you go ahead and keep asking questions if you have them. But one of the questions that I saw posted a couple times was, is there really any opportunity for real growth when I feel like there's so many coaches out there already? And that's a great question. And my answer is absolutely. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people out there that still need help. And there's amazing, that's what's so cool about social media, is that it's incredible how many people you'll meet as you start sharing your journey, especially on Instagram. It just has this wide reach of people that you just never even knew that you could even meet, which is so cool. Half my team, no gosh, probably 3/4 of my team are people that I were not in my just network of friends or family. They're new women that I met all over the country, and that's super cool. So that's a huge part of what it is to be a coach. You know, you meet new people and you connect with new people and you share your story and you help them, you know, find who they are through their own journey. So there is a lot of growth and a lot of room for growth. There's so many new things happening in the company right now. You know, we just expanded to the United Kingdom. We hope to be expanding to some other countries in the near future. We have amazing new programs, just like 80-Day Obsession, and lots of new ones coming later this year. So there's always new things happening and new ways to reach new people and new ways to help people and help them achieve their goals. So there's not too many coaches, if that's the question. Okay, so another question I had was, how do you choose the right coach for you? And so hopefully you were either following a coach who, you know, posted this link, and so that's why you joined here, or maybe they invited you. But either way, whoever you're in this group for is probably the person that you should talk to. So, you know, that's usually kind of how it goes. If you've been talking to a coach or you've been getting information from them, that's usually who you will end up signing up with, who you'll end up having a conversation with. Of course, you want to work with somebody who you feel like has your right, like the same morals, the same values, the same ideas as you, because that is important, obviously. But we are a team. The Inspiration Crew is a team. So, you know, if you join this group because you are connected with somebody else, you know, maybe one of my coaches, you know, that's amazing. So connect with them, get signed up with them. And I'm still here as like the mother of the team, and we still do a lot of trainings together. So be respectful of the person that joined, you know, added you here, or that you follow, that brought you here, and connect with them after this group if you feel like, you know, you're led to be a coach after this group is over. Okay, so somebody asked about you asked about personal development, and it's just the Slide Edge is the first book that I would say. And then from there, you know, in your new coach training, we kind of go through that and give you specifics of what books would be good for where you are. You know, reading a personal development book really only does its amazing work if it's something that meets you where you are. Let's see. Can you do this part-time was another question, or, you know, a variation of that question. You know, can you do it part-time while also just holding yourself accountable? Absolutely. We have so many coaches on our team that are coaches just because they wanted to hold themselves accountable. That's how I thought I was going to start, and then I fell in love with it, and so I kind of ran with it. But there's a lot of coaches who join purely to be in challenge groups and accountability groups and just share every so often what that looks like for them. You know, maybe you have a friend that's like, you look amazing, or you're so happy, you know, I want to know what you're doing. And you can get them signed up with you and make a little bit of commission and support them in a challenge group, whether it's like your uplines group or something like that, or my group. There's so many different things that you can do with it. It's totally up to you. And there's a video today that Krista did that talked about the different types of coaches. So whether you want to be a full-time business building coach like myself and so many of the other coaches that you saw on the videos today, half of them are part-time working coaches that have full-time jobs. So there's so many different ways to do it. I built my business completely and left teaching while I was teaching full-time. So you can absolutely do anything that you want with this. It could be just a post here and there and be able to have somebody sign up with you. And it can just be that you want the discount on Shakeology in your programs, and that's totally fine too. That's why we have the option for a coach discount, so that people who love the products and the programs can also get that amazing discount that we get as coaches. So hopefully that makes sense. And with that, also I want to say that, the more time that you put into this business, the more that you'll get out of it. So I always say, like, every coach's success is directly dependent upon the amount of work and effort that they put into their business. So while I choose to work a lot and do a lot, my business has grown aggressively. But somebody else who may not want to, build as quickly or grow as quickly might just spend a couple hours a week on their business, and that's totally fine. So to each his own, and the more the effort that you put in, the more that you'll get out of it quicker and faster. Let's see. Somebody asked a question about Clean Week on Beachbody On Demand, and yes, that is something that you can access with Beachbody On Demand. So that was just a random question I wanted to make sure to answer in case you're on. Let's see, what else? Oh, good, Renee, I'm so glad. I'm sounding stuffier and stuffier in my head, so sorry if I sound like I'm talking with my nose plugged. Okay, another question. I think I have two more. The other one I heard was, okay, can I be a coach? This, I don't know if this is one of the last questions, but this is a long one that was in there. Basically, can I be a coach even if I don't really use the products? So two things on that. Of course, there's people who are going to have allergies or sensitivities or reasons why they medically cannot use, the Performance Line or Shakeology, things like that. Obviously, that should not deter you from becoming a coach. There's other things that you can try to use. You also can have your family involved, have your husband or your spouse using Shakeology or the Performance Line. That's a great option as well, too. We all know that it's made very well and it helps with your health. It's just so much. But sometimes, there are people that can't use them. But you absolutely can still be a coach and still share about the amazing benefits of Shakeology, even though you personally cannot use them. You can share via your kids drinking it, via your spouse, your friends, your family. There's so many other ways, and there are some coaches on our team that are successful without being able to share hugely about Shakeology. So definitely don't let that deter you. I will say using the workouts is important, but, because we talk about being a product of the product, so really just owning your own journey and also sharing about that. So we have a lot of girls that will come in and they'll be like, well, I wanted to be a personal trainer, or I want to do my own workouts, or I like going to the gym, or I, like taking bar classes, or I want to run a marathon. That's totally fine. No one's stopping you from going to the gym or taking those random classes that you want to take. That's totally fine. But what Beachbody does is gives you a platform to be able to share your health and fitness journey. You can still go to the gym and do all those things. And when somebody comes to you asking for help, you have these amazing tools and resources from Beachbody to give them and help them. An amazing meal plan, amazing workouts, and an amazing superfood shake that gives them all of the healthy nutrients and antioxidants and probiotics that they need to be healthy every single day. So that's where that kind of comes into play. But you can absolutely do your Beachbody workouts while also, sharing about other things that you're passionate about. Again, becoming a coach is not about being this like robotic walking billboard for Shakeology and the 21-day fix. So you can do so many other things with it. Another question I got was about, this is my last question, and then I'll answer whatever's up here. The last question I got was about skeptical husbands and how do I get my skeptical hubby on board? So I totally resonate with this one, and my husband and I are actually going to do a video tomorrow and post it in here. I just kind of let him know too late today, so we need to have some time. We'll do it tomorrow. But my husband was very skeptical. Now, I don't mean that to say that he was unsupportive, because he's always been the most supportive person ever in my entire life in any venture I've ever wanted to take. So I'm super grateful for that. But he was skeptical, and he did give me kickback on it, and we did research a lot, and we did, research a lot on whether it was a pyramid scheme, on if it was even something that could even bring in an income, what that kind of looked like. First of all, a pyramid scheme is illegal, so it is not that. There is not just one person at the top that makes all the money and everyone else is below them. That is not what happens. So we, this is a very much of a team building effort, and everyone's direct effort and things that they put into the business is what makes them their income, is what gives them success. So while my husband was very skeptical about it's just different, I was a teacher. He's like, you're going to make a business? I don't even understand. So like I said, one of the last things I really remember him saying was, at the end of this, if it just totally blows up or we waste, $160 on your challenge pack, that's okay, because I know now that you have gotten healthier, you've made some incredible friends, and this has totally changed you as a person. So I can't be mad about that, right? And so that's something that I always tell my ladies who have husbands who are skeptical. It's like, just give me a month. Just give me a month to show you what following this program and getting into this community of women does for me, and then let's talk. So that's been something that a lot of my girls have done with their skeptical husbands. But my hubby's going to come in here, like I said, tomorrow, and just really share kind of nitty gritty details of what he found and what he ultimately decided on, why he was supportive of this venture of mine. But the biggest thing is just really sharing with your husband, sharing with your spouse why it is that you think this is going to be helpful for you, why you think that this is going to be a good decision for you. And for me, it was like, hey, I'm at the end of my rope. I am at a plateau in my fitness journey. I'm unmotivated. I'm just uninspired and totally depressed. And this was something that I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, hoping that it would be something that would change my life. And good thing, because it did. But all it takes is just a week of being a coach to be like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. So that's something to always remember too. Okay, other questions. Do you ever feel that you find, or do you ever find that you feel like you run out of content on ideas on what to post about or talk about on social media? I fear sounding like a broken record. Hey, Lauren. Yeah, that's a good question. So one thing that helps with that is, if you have time hop or memories on Facebook, is that after you've been in the business for a few years, like I have, there are some things that kind of recycle back in. You're like, oh my gosh, that was such a good quote that I posted 2 years ago, but it means something different to me today than it did 2 years ago. And so you can share that and talk about that. So little things like that. But honestly, the way that I talk to my coaches and the way I train them to share their journeys is to literally think about every day like a new page in your journal. So I want for you to think about when you wake up in the morning and you open up that book and it's a blank page, what is it that you can share with somebody that would be inspiring? And it doesn't have to be anything special. Like for me, I usually post something in the morning. That's usually when I'm doing my devotions, spending time with Jesus, reading personal development, hanging out with my kids, drinking my coffee or my tea, sharing a mug, it's kind of that habitual thing in the morning. And for me, I'm like, okay, so here I go. I'm just waking up. This is what I did this morning. This is something that I want to leave you with. Then maybe in the afternoon, I'm doing my workout, or maybe I made a cool recipe, or maybe I'm doing something with my family. There's so many different things to share about. And that is something that we talk a lot about in your new coach training. I actually make you do this little exercise to jot down 15 different things about yourself, things that you enjoy, things that bring you happiness, things that are not Beachbody, there are things that are gifts that you can share with the world that would bring joy to them because they bring joy to you. So we talk a lot about that, and it's never, you'll find that might be something scary to you now, but the social media side of it is easy once you start just sharing what it is that brings you joy and what is bringing you fulfillment and purpose in your journey. So don't be worried about that. Do you have to make your Instagram account public, or can I remain private? So I always recommend being a public profile, because if you think about it, on Instagram, how often do you go and try to request somebody to, it's harder to request to follow somebody than it is for somebody to just come to you and then be able to follow you. You know, obviously it's different if you're connecting with people, but when people are coming to watch you and see what you're doing, it's easier if you're an open profile. They can click and just become inspired. I can't tell you how many women have been like, I don't even know how I stumbled upon you, but somehow you were just there and I clicked on your profile and I looked through all your pictures and I totally related to you. So there is a lot of beauty in having it public. Of course, you can pick and choose what you want to share. You know, Facebook, you can make your profile public, but you can also choose certain posts to make just to your friends only. So while I know it is scary, it is something that does help your business. It doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be successful if you have a private profile, but it does help just to be able to be a little bit more transparent that way. Oh, good, Brittany. I'm so glad. Any other questions, you guys, before I close this off? You know, becoming a coach can be a scary thing. I know it was for me. It was like, it was so different than anything I've ever done before, and totally out of my super introvertedness. But it's been one thing that has totally transformed my life physically, emotionally, what's the word? Just relationally, just like literally every aspect of my life is different because of what coaching has brought into my life and how it's changed me as a person. That may sound like really cliche or mushy-gushy, but it really has. It's brought me some incredible friendships, and I was that girl that just, I don't know, that never had a ton of friends. You know, I had more guy friends, and girls were just catty, and I just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't work for me when I was growing up. And so this has been like the most incredible thing ever. You know, not only as an introvert do I get to be behind a screen like this, so it's not as scary as like being in front of people, even though I've kind of gotten over that fear as well from having to public speak. But, you know, it's just been something that for me has brought this sense of confidence and passion out that I never knew I had. And it's brought amazing friendships that I really, really needed, especially now as a mom. And it was something that I was lacking. So it's really, you know, pushed me forward in that sense as well, to meet new people and to kind of put myself out there. And then, you know, physically, I've been the fittest I've ever been after 2 kids, you know, which is crazy. And then my relationship has changed completely. My marriage is so much stronger. All of the personal development that I've done and all of the things that I've learned since being a coach have helped me become a way better wife, way more mindful, way more graceful and loving. And that in and of itself is amazing. It's just changed a lot about who I am and how I react to things. So I've gone through, if you guys have followed me at all for the last couple of years, you know, there's been so many family things that have happened in my life, you know, from my sister going through cancer to my parents up and getting divorced. Like, I just totally threw me for a loop last year, and it was very emotional for me. My dad getting remarried, and just so many things that, you know, moving and 2 kids, you know, in 2 years, and just so much like craziness. If I had not had coaching, if the person that I was my 3-year-old self, going through all that, I would be like in this deep dark hole, like by myself, super depressed. But because I'm not that person now, and because I'm who I am, because of this amazing community of support around me who prayed for me and loved on me and reached out to me when I was going through all this crazy stuff, all the personal development that I've done to really bring myself to a better place of just mindfulness, I went through all that crazy stuff and came out on the end still positive, still rocking it with my team, and just still doing the important things and focusing on the important things and focusing on the positive. You know, I always tell my coaches, you know, we have an amazing opportunity to not be perfect, but to be totally imperfect, but share what we do every day and share our lives with this silver lining, because we have this opportunity to totally change who we are as a person and become, you know, coaching really allows us to become who it is that we've always wanted to be. And I'm just now, I feel like starting to realize that after all these different things that I've been through. You know, all those things are not stuff that I would ever, you know, want to go through again, but it's amazing amazing who you become when you just lean into the people who support you, lean into the things that just come naturally, and just trust the process. God does some amazing things in people when you just kind of trust him. And so that's been something that's been one of the most rewarding things for me now as a coach, with my own coaches, is seeing them totally blossom into the people that God has created them to be. And that is so stinking cool. So okay, I don't even know where that went, but I just got really excited about that because I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Love my team. Okay, so I see more questions coming up now. Okay, Corey, you asked about new coach training. So the new coach training is completely self-paced. It's 14 days. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Like I said, we're here to help pace you and be with you, connect with you, do a new coach call, all that kind of stuff. So it's up to you kind of, but it gives you all the basics. Like, okay, I'm a coach. What the heck do I do now? Like, what do I start sharing? What do I do on social media? How do I find my workouts? Everything that you're thinking now of like, oh my gosh, what do I do as a new coach? That's what you're going to learn in your new coach training. And it's totally self-paced, and you can go as quick or as slow as you want. Oh yeah, Emily. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you too. Okay, so Janine, yes, if you're interested in becoming a coach. So let's talk about, oh, thanks, Alexandra. That's so nice. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm just making sure I get all these questions. Okay, so right. So if you're interested, this is like a ding, 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 big flashing lights. If you're interested in becoming a coach on our inspiration crew, I gotta sit up here. If you're interested in becoming a coach on our crew, then what you need to do is either comment below and tag your coach, just be like, tag Ashley, I'm so ready to become a coach, or tag whoever your coach is that brought you here, the girl that you've been following that's like, hey, I'm that creepy stalker that's been watching you for like 3 years and I'm finally ready. Tag that girl, okay? So tag them below and then send them a message or an email, and I'll make a post again after this and just kind of, put my email out there too. But make a comment and tag your coach that you want to be joining with, and send them a message or an email and connect with them. Let them know that you're ready. Let them know that you want to join this amazing sisterhood of women, and we will help you get started. So we'll kind of figure out where you are. If you have Beachbody On Demand already, awesome, then you don't need that. We'll get you set up with Shakeology or whatever else it is. If you're brand new and you're literally coming here not knowing anything about Beachbody or programs or anything like me, I didn't know anything, then that's okay too. And what we'll do is help you get started. It's something called a challenge pack. You'll get access to your workouts for the entire year from the day that you sign up, access to all of the meal plans, access to just all the different coach resources, all your new coach resources as well. You'll get your first month of Shakeology, and then you'll get plugged into our team, plugged into the new coach training, into your new coach message pods, and into just all of the team stuff that we do. You'll be able to hop on team calls and trainings and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's kind of how it will start. But when you connect with your coach or the person that you're joining with, they'll make sure to let you know, what your next steps are depending upon where you are personally right now. We'll help you get all set up. Let's see. Anything else? Any other questions? Let me know if there's anything else and I'll wrap it up. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I forgot. I don't think so, but honestly, we're just so grateful that you're here, and this group will stay open. So if you feel like you need to come back and watch a video, or maybe you only got through a couple of them, please feel free to come back. Feel free to, watch more of them, and come back with more questions. Feel free to do that and just tag me. I'll make sure to come back in here and answer them. But this group will stay open, so please use it as a resource. Continue asking questions, looking around, and making sure that you have your last thoughts together before you decide to take this next step. So, the next step does not mean that you have to just go ahead and sign up right now. It could just be maybe you connect with the person that you're joining here for, or the coach that brought you here, and just talk about stuff, talk about your hesitations. That's totally fine too. Connect with us and let us talk to you and share our stories a little bit more. Sarah, a little bit nervous about being public and sharing too much about my daughter's life. Yeah, absolutely. So so many women are nervous about that, and I was too. Now it's kind of just become this natural thing where my followers and the women that follow me are really invested in my in my life and in my kids' lives. But if you're worried about that, that's one of those things where you can totally, not share as much about them, or share like the back of their head instead of pictures of them, or just talk about them and not necessarily share a ton about them. So you can totally share. Again, being a coach doesn't mean you sign up and I'm going to tell you what you have to do and you have to do it or you're not going to be successful. That's not the case at all. You can make this your own journey. You share what you're comfortable with, and just that, so don't ever feel pressured to do something that you're not pressured to do. Ease into it. Wait until it feels natural. And if it never does, then you don't have to share a ton about that. There's a lot of people that don't, and they're still incredibly successful. So that's not something to deter you at all. Hopefully that makes sense. Anything else, you guys? Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for joining. Like I said, my name is Ashley. Let me know if you need absolutely anything. Reach out to me. Reach out to the coach that added you or the coach that you follow, and we'll be here to support you the whole entire way. And I hope to be seeing many of you guys being welcomed into our team page here in the next couple days. So have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining, and I will talk to you